Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we now bring you the Museum of Modern Music.
Hello, Mr. McCarthy.
Oh, hello there.
So you're back for more, eh?
In the words of Shakespeare, the fault is not in my stars, but in my announcing schedule.
Well, now, don't you worry. Here, put this on.
What is it?
Why, it's an asbestos zoot suit. Oh. Guaranteed to keep you square when the music gets hot.
Will it get very, very hot?
Hotter than... hotter than you've ever been. But please, Mr. McCarthy, won't you come in?
Well, much as we hate to admit it, it looks like another session from the little building on the other side of the tracks, ABC's Museum of Modern Music, featuring Hank D'Amico as clarinet and his band, the D'Amico Sextet and Dixielanders and the Buddy Weed Trio. And this is Jack McCarthy inviting you to stop kidding yourself and admit you're a character and join our shoeless group as the museum opens with Blue Lou. If we were a sane program, we could open our exhibit of the Buddy Weed Trio in the Museum of Modern Music by saying, hello there, music lovers. Say we got a big treat for you today. A big, big treat. Yes, indeedy. What is it? Well, we'll tell you in a minute, but first, a word from our sponsor. But we don't have a sponsor. Instead, we introduce the Buddy Weed Trio this way. Say, Giobbe.
How you talking?
Kay, are you available?
You mean? I gotta work.
Mm-hmm, indeed you do. Hey, Buddy, how about some music?
Oh, I don't know, Jack. Let me talk it over with the trio.
The only trio in history that plays like a man and a half and talks like a whole band. Well, gentlemen, what's the verdict?
All I can say, Jack, is if you wanted us to work, you should have told me. You should have told me you loved someone else before I fell in love with you. You should have told me you cared for another before you broke my heart in two. It was wrong when you thrilled me with your kiss so divine. You knew when you kissed me you would never be mine. Oh, why didn't you tell me you loved someone else before I fell in love with you? It was wrong when you thrilled me with your kiss so divine. You knew when you kissed me you would never be mine, never be mine. Oh, why didn't you tell me you loved someone else before I fell in love with you?
As you know, on most programs, they usually have interviews with the band leader on the show. He's always a very talkative character, always feels so secure in front of the microphone without his instrument, and usually has the most interesting things to say. Today, we interview Hank D'Amico. Mr. D'Amico, how long have you been playing clarinet?
Yeah,
Tell me, do you notice any particular trends in current jazz?
sure.
Mr. D'Amico has just said, quote, he notices trends in music. Mr. D'Amico, who are your favorite instrumentalists?
Musicians.
Mr. D'Amico has just said that he has some favorite instrumentalists. Mr. D'Amico, is there any particular tune you'd care to play for us now, with the whole band, that is?
Yeah.
Thank you, Hank D'Amico. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard a first-hand interview with Hank D'Amico. Mr. D'Amico has said that he'd be delighted to play Flamingo just as soon as he's able to give the beat. We come now to our sextet department on the Museum of Modern Music. 6 little guys who thought a musician's life would be an easy way to earn $1. Well, at any rate, we hear these 6 at their chosen profession right now. D'Amico, Rollini, Weed, Giobbe, Kay, and Wettling. Sound off!
Sound off! 1, 2, 3, 4.
5. Say, that's only 5. Where's Wettling? Mr. Wettling has just arrived. He looks to be a trifle stiff from playing golf. Well, here they all are now on Indian summer. You are listening to ABC's Museum of Modern Music, a sedate little organization, very high-collared indeed, presided over by Hank D'Amico, his clarinet and his band, the D'Amico Sextet and Dixielanders, and the Buddy Wee Trio. Any similarity between a well-dressed, rehearsed broadcast and the Museum of Modern Music is purely coincidental. But now we come to the reason why they're musicians. Thank you. Today, Vernon Brown. Once upon a time, there lived a little character named Vernon Brown. Due to some reason which escapes us for the moment, everyone called him, quote, Brownie. Brownie loved nature. The higher things in life always appealed to him. The smell of flowers on a soft summer's day, and the way his voice used to sound at the ballpark as he called,
Soda pop, hot dogs, get 'em while they're hot. Soda pop, hot dogs, get 'em while they're hot.
One day, however, a gentleman approached him and said, I say, old chap, you have a voice like a tarnished trombone. Idea. An electric bulb flashed, and it was at this point that Brownie uttered his immortal sentence.
I'm going to be a trombone player when I grow up, I hope.
A lifelong ambition satisfied, now we hear the orchestra play Lazy River, and at letter D, Mr. Brown gets his. History as it was made. The Museum of Modern Music takes you now to our riverboat exhibit. Back to the early days of jazz, when the old two-stackers used to ply the Mississippi, and in the lounge over the sound of the paddle wheels would come blue music. Captain of our riverboat tonight is Hank D'Amico, while with him is Bobby Hackett, Buddy Weed, Felix Giobbe, Tommy Kay, and George Wettling. So close your eyes, and in the theater of your mind, go back to the old days, to when you would hear the call of
Memphis, Natchez, New Orleans, cigars, cigarettes.
and music like this would come floating between the decks. We come now to the Buddy Weed exhibit on the Museum of Modern Music, where modern inventions are given their first tryout. Today we have a new device we'd like to demonstrate. It's called the microphone. Now, if you'll just step this way, we'll be only too glad to show you this new invention, the microphone in operation. Hush Hush Weed and his trio will now demonstrate it for us. Mr. Weed and his trio will play the raucous "Can You Look Me in the Eye and Say We're Through" with the utmost restraint, Mr. Weed merely whispering into the microphone, "Please, sir, please."
Can you look me in the eyes and say we're through? Can you say goodbye, good luck, and here's to you? Or do you sometimes feel the same as I? That a love like ours can never, never die? Can you walk right out on every memory? Can you brush off all those dreams you shared with me? In these arms that used to hold you as they're longing now to do, can you look me in the eyes and say we're through? Walk right out on every memory. Can you brush off all those dreams you shared with me? arms that used to hold you as they're longing now to do. Can you look me in the eyes and say we're through?
The Mythology Department in the Museum of Modern Music boasts a very proud exhibit tonight, dedicated to the Roman goddess Minerva. In the 20th century, the goddess Minerva has as her sponsor one composer and arranger named Eddie Barefield. Mr. Barefield, in dedication to the old gal, has written a tune which, oddly enough, he has called Minerva. So as soon as the Hank D'Amico crowd finish burning their offerings, we will hear this piece, proving, among other things, that ancient Rome was never like this. And there you have it, folks. Another session from the little museum on the other side of the tracks. Ain't you glad you live near the railroad? Now, the theme. Your hosts on ABC's Museum of Modern Music have been Hank D'Amico, the D'Amico Sextet and Dixielanders, and the Buddy Weed Trio. Included in the cast were Bobby Hackett, George Wettling, Jimmy Morreale, Vernon Brown, Art Rollini, and several other notables of Le Jazz Hot. The museum is written by Bob Green, directed by Dick Charles. And right now, this is Jack McCarthy saying so long, and inviting you all to be with...
To be or not to be, that is the question.
What do you want?
A man in all the world's new fashions planted hath a mind of phrases in his brain.
Some punchy radio actor, ladies and gentlemen. Say, mister, this isn't Shakespeare. This is the Museum of Modern Music.
I will roar you as gently as any suckling dove.
Sir, I think you're in the wrong studio.
Speak kind words to me.
Say, that's from Romeo and Juliet.
Speak kind words to me.
Okay, you asked for it. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to another concert of Bughouse Rhythm under the direction of Dr. John Brunker Meakin. This evening marks the completion of a lifelong ambition for Dr. Meakin, for it is tonight's concert which brings to a glorious finale the modern love drama cycle, better known as the mini-cycle. Again, we have the pleasure of hearing Saunders King as soloist. And I might add at this time, point out an interesting fact concerning Mr. King. In ancient times, there were guilds in Germany composed of singers, and from the music of Richard Wagner, we are familiar with the Meistersinger. However, before the time of the Meistersinger, the songs of the day were interpreted by the Minisanger, or mini-singer. In his appearance during this Minnie the Moocher cycle, Saunders King has revived the art of the mini-singer. We felt that this fact would prove of interest as we hear Mr. King in the third and last of these dramas, which will be heard later in the program. The orchestral portion of our concert opens with a reading of Mr. Brown and Lafernier's musical fantasy titled Rusty Hinge. The title obviously implies that the work was inspired by an accumulation of rust in the metal member by which a door, gate, or lid is articulated. The resultant sound of this neglect has been charmingly scored. The theme is first stated in the saxophones during a unison introduction. It is then developed by the brasses, and in a later passage, the pianoforte is heard to take a belt at it. The last measures taper off into a delicate pianissimo, interrupted by a startling brass figure. The premier performance of this work brought forth from critics such statements as, and I quote, "Rusty Hinge swung higher than goodness gracious." Another said, "Solid sending down to the very bricks." While Horace J. Ploverseed, music critic of the dandy little chamber music journal, said, "Who threw that fish?" I see that Maestro Dr. Meakin has called for attention, and we're about to hear the orchestral fantasy, Rusty Hinge. We come now to a notable work of Mr. Raymond Scott, notable among other things for its artistic recognition of a much maligned member of society, a mother-in-law. We are told that it is the first of a suite to be titled Songs My Mother-in-Law Taught Me. But until the composer chooses to declare himself on the subject, we cannot vouch for the truth of the rumor. We hope that this proves true, however, as this work is indeed a worthy beginning. It is spirited, sparkling, poetic, and subtly nuanced. It is a composition which conveys with complete skill the romantic vision which the composer meant his music to suggest. This work should go a long way in quelling the unfortunate misrepresentations of mothers-in-law. We might, if we may be pardoned, go so far as to say that it succeeds in leaving us completely discombobulated. Swing, Swing, Mother-in-Law is the title of the work. It was introduced with great success by the famous trumpet virtuoso, Mr. Bunny Berrigan. There is a decided Gershwinian influence which the discerning listener will detect in certain passages, a fact worthy of mention because of the composer's repetition in eighth notes of the seventh in the dominant seventh chord of the subdominant. In this case, the note is B flat and is given to the brass instruments. The performance of Raymond Scott's Swing, Swing, Mother-in-Law follows directly. Ladies and gentlemen, the moment that Dr. John Bronco Meekin has long waited for has now arrived, and he is about to direct the grand finale of the mini-cycle with Mr. Saunders King as guest soloist. This will mark the first time that the three music dramas comprising this cycle have been presented in consecutive order by any musical organization. In the first of the three dramas, titled Mindy the Moocher, we pointed out the influence of Richard Wagner in the use of vocal passages expressed by sounds rather than actual words. We refer, of course, to the cry of Die Walküre, stated as "Hoi-O to-ho," which in the modern version becomes "Heidi Heidi ho." However, we might add that the mini-cycle has borrowed freely of Wagner's best and has also profited by his errors. In the press, Dr. Meekin promised some startling statements to those who might feel that one as great as Richard Wagner was beyond any faults. He has made good that promise and now reveals the results of his research, which falls as a veritable bombshell in the music world. In defense of a joyous ending to the mini-cycle, rather than the tragic ending of Tristan und Isolde or the somber finale of the Wagnerian Ring, Dr. Meekin has found this passage in a volume published in Berlin in 1888, entitled Musikalisches Skizzenbuch, and written by Edward Hanslick. The author has this to say, and I quote, von Standpunkte der Gesangskunst, das von Wagners dramatischen Style wohl am meisten Blick gaben. End of quotation. We believe that this point is well put and should answer many of the mini-cycle's critics. This third of the mini-cycle which we are about to hear bears the title Minnie the Moocher's Wedding Day. In this work we find that the lovers Minnie and Joseph have been reunited. This is the great wedding scene, and it was indeed a magnificent spectacle as it made its premiere in Harlem's opera house, the Cotton Club. All of the characters appear in full splendor: Minnie, Joseph, Willie the Weeper, and so on. After the wedding ceremony, and Minnie and Joseph have been joined together, a joyous dance is staged by the members of the ballet to an orchestral development of the Heidi Heidi Ho theme. We are told that at the conclusion of the first performance at the Cotton Club, that as the curtain went down on the finale, the audience was so enthusiastic that they rose to a person and left their seats to dance upon the very boards where the players had just performed. Saunders King has now appeared, and Dr. Meakin is now ready to smack out the final chapter of the mini-cycle titled Minnie the Moocher's Wedding Day.
Chinatown start acting gay. There's something in the air that makes them feel that way. Oh yeah, man, I heard somebody say it's Minnie the Moocher's wedding day. Oh, Smokey Joe so happy he can hardly wait. He paid $1 million for the wedding cake. Oh yeah, man, they're gonna celebrate. It's Minnie the Moocher's wedding day. You better come on down. You better come on down. Down to Chinatown. Down to Chinatown. Let me take you down. Let me take you down. To see them kick the gong around. 1 million people singing hey day hey. The king of Sweden's gonna give the bride away. Oh yeah, man, I heard somebody say it's Minnie the Moocher's wedding day. The king and queen of every nation were glad to get an invitation. The Duke de Bunk said he would get away for Minnie the Moocher's wedding day. I hear 100,000 people have been to China picking poppy. They're gonna put them all in one bouquet for Minnie the Moocher's wedding day. The Weeper, you will see there. He promised Smokey he would be there. Till everything turned out okay for Minnie the Moocher's wedding day. You better come on down. Better come on down. Down to Chinatown. Let me take you down. Let me take you down. To see them kick that gong around. 1 million folks singing hey day hey. The king of Sweden's gonna give the bride away. Oh yeah, man, I heard somebody say it's Minnie the Moocher's wedding day.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the last drama of the mini-cycle brought to you in the concert of Bughouse Rhythm, directed by Dr. John Bunker Meakin, with Saunders King, tenor, as guest soloist. Dr. Meakin has asked me to express his pleasure in having the opportunity of bringing you the first complete performance of these modern love dramas, and to extend to you, Mr. King, our appreciation of having you with us for the broadcasts, and we hope that you have enjoyed being with us.
Yeah, man.
Bughouse Rhythm came to you from San Francisco. G. Archibald Presby speaking. This has been a Blue Network presentation of the National Broadcasting Company.